Today we'll be reviewing The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I hope you enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Pull out pen and paper and ask yourself what you could ever want from a Zelda title, then make a checklist. It's clear that Nintendo has listened to feedback from Breath of the Wild and tried to fulfill that checklist. While the engine and graphics from the previous game are still present, Tears of the Kingdom takes us to new heights quite literally, as well as new depths. When I played through Breath of the Wild years ago, I couldn't see how they could improve upon Zelda much further apart from enhancing the graphics from time to time, or simply recycling the same format with a new backstory and perhaps a shiny new mechanic. Something akin to a sports game or Call of Duty. Boy, was I wrong. That said, if you haven't already familiarized yourself with The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild by now, you should consider it before giving Tears of the Kingdom a try. Tears adds to its predecessor by adding new abilities, expanding the story, and transforming the map, but many of the core mechanics are still the same. This includes shrines, cooking, climbing, paragliding, battle style, and much more. It would take too much time and overlap this review simply too much to be tasteful. The fundamentals of gameplay have changed as we're given new abilities and a floating island in the sky to explore at the start of the game. The abilities we discover one by one in different areas of what's called the Great Sky Island introduce quality of life for the player. We meet constructs that are robots from an ancient civilization, not unlike Guardians. If interacted with, steward constructs will show Link how to survive. Moreover, the steward constructs will teach you what Zonai devices are, how to acquire them, and even upgrade your battery capacity to use them. Also, a level of fun I haven't had in some time from a tutorial level that stretches into the rest of the game. Ascend takes challenging climbs from Breath of the Wild and makes them look like child's play. You can target a flat space, such as a cliff or ceiling above Link's head, swim through the void, and surface from the top. It can be used in short spans to obtain higher platforms that are just outside of reach, or used to go from underground to the top of a mountain. With the introduction of caves scattered about, Ascend can work as a sort of fast travel. Backtracking is seldom required. Recall seems simple enough at the start. Experiment with it long enough, and you'll uncover a dozen uses for it. This ability allows you to turn back time on objects, even ones you've moved prior. Without spoiling too much, its primary use seems to be a convenient way to reach heights by recalling fallen parts of Sky Islands. Fuse, on the other hand, is used mostly for battle. What seems to be an improvement from Breath of the Wild is nearly every item in the game has more than a single purpose. Fuse arrows with nearly anything for an attack or elemental buff. You can also fire at inventions from afar to remotely activate traps at a safe distance. You can even fuse certain items to arrows to make them fly further, auto-lock, or afflict enemies with a status effect. Our household favorite is Muddlebud, which you can use to confuse strong enemies into attacking weaker ones. The same fusing principles can be extended to Link's other equipment. Fuse a topaz at the end of your sword, and you have a magic rod. Attach a rocket on your shield, then block to soar up and away at lightning speed. The possibilities are endless. I'll try to elaborate on the Ultra Hand ability in our next section. For now, it essentially turns our beloved land of Hyrule into a Minecraft server and a kid from 2011 experimenting with redstone for the first time. Similar to the fuse power, Ultra Hand can glue objects together so the player may build anything their hearts desire, no matter how ridiculous that may be. We eventually set out onto the more familiar surface map of Hyrule. That's when the adventure begins and the world becomes an open one to explore. Majesty awaits around every corner, at least the ones without monsters lurking behind them. Inventions and contraptions become a game of their own as you discover more Zonai devices and ways to use them. Thus, officially tying the Zelda franchise to the sandbox genre through the use of Ultra Hand. Link driving a car? Mario Kart has gotten out of Ultra Hand. It's okay, you can thank me later. On a serious note, the new ability creates more dynamic complexities in the game. You can collect Zonai devices from any of the capsule machines found above or below the surface map. though you can often find devices lying around in various locations mixed in with building materials. Combine them to design a machine that can help you traverse Hyrule, defeat Ganon's minions, or solve puzzles. Tears kept me enticed by slowly introducing new Zonai devices throughout the game by limiting capsule machines to only dispense 4 types of devices per location. I found innovative ways to make things work even when I might have been short on the necessary items. For example, making a hot air balloon work with a flame emitter, making a campfire, or lighting a torch and holding it. Another time, I attached hydrants to the front of my car and drove around to clear the surrounding area of sludge. As time went on, my creations became more advanced. It will be exciting to see what players do in the coming months with freedom and ingenuity. One of the most exciting aspects of this new Hyrule map is the addition of an enormous secondary world tucked away just below the surface. I felt goosebumps as I took my first dive into a large chasm that led me deep below to a small fire surrounded only by darkness. The depths are covered with a substance known as gloom, and Link must find his way as he explores and faces foes more dangerous than ever. Gloom will eat away at your hearts and even prevent you from recovering health through traditional means like eating food. You'll find this challenging as groups of enemies are spread across the depths and imbued with gloom power. Luckily, all is not lost. There are light roots scattered about, and should you activate one, it'll illuminate the surrounding area, uncover part of the map, and restore your broken hearts. As you progress, you'll soon discover large mini-bosses that'll add a variety which was sorely missed in Breath of the Wild's Guardian fights. Defeat them and treasures await. Apart from your usual encampment of bokoblins, you'll find the Yiga clan with strange Zonai builds meant to fight any trespassers. The map is just as massive as the one above, so there are many more great mysteries to discover for yourself. Temples feel open and fun with multiple ways to clear them. Compared to the Divine Beast dungeons in the previous game, it's a major improvement. There will be times when you feel like building is tedious and just want to quickly solve a puzzle, or get from point A to point B. Fortunately, Nintendo has allowed us the breathing room to find our own ways to combine abilities and items to accomplish nearly anything. There were even times I had to stop myself, go back, and try something again, only in a new way just to see if it would work. It often did. What is hard to put my finger on is which changes to Tears of the Kingdom I liked most. After some thought, the single most important being the new bosses. While they aren't challenging, the boss battles feel more diverse and match the elemental theme of the temples. Already a lot more than can be said of the Blight Ganon boss battles from before. This brings me to my next few points. While not necessarily harmful to the overall experience of the game, they left something to be desired. I just wish they'd add a difficulty level. At this stage, with so many different players of varying skills and ages, Tears would benefit from allowing users to set their difficulty. And alas, the story is still lacking from sections of the game. The default Zelda story formula is present once again. Zelda is in trouble, Ganon is a jerk, and Link must save the day. Are fans of the series justified in complaining? Perhaps. Yet, that's not the complaint I take issue with currently, because Tears of the Kingdom reinforces and develops the characters presented to us in Breath of the Wild. At times, the story felt like a wholesome coming-of-age tale where the younger generation must step up and take on new roles. What's truly unfortunate is there will be at least some players that completely miss the questline that tells the true story. One with over an hour of cutscenes and the best backstory I think I've seen from a Zelda game in some time. If the developers had only injected a small portion of this story into the base gameplay or had more events of the caliber occur outside a single quest, it is poor direction for little purpose other than being true to the open world theme. Lastly, I'd like to see Link in peril more often, where you get the sense he is in great danger. Maybe he is randomly put in an awful predicament, one where the player isn't fully prepared. I scarcely had the feeling a situation was unmanageable. Your grandpa called. He wants his anti-aliasing back. Fun fact, most Nintendo Switch games can't afford to utilize anti-aliasing. I know graphics are not everything, but I do find fault when I am trying to enjoy the final battle sequence and the characters on the screen judder about. It is worth noting though, apart from the final battle being spotty with frames, most of the rest of the game performed fine. I'm sure some minor improvements should be patched soon. Small subtle differences can be spotted, such as Link looking down over a ledge, or his fall animation from a short height. The draw distance and dynamic lighting, along with other aspects, have been improved. Nintendo is truly pushing the Switch to its limits, which is impressive enough of itself. Yet, the real saving grace for Tears is the art direction. Harkening back to older themes and bolder colors, they have vastly revamped Hyrule from its Breath of the Wild days. Overall, the quality hasn't diminished for me over the length of my stay in the kingdom. I would not recommend playing on a large TV or in handheld mode, however. This does make judging the look of a game a bit more of a range and feel as opposed to one accessible setting. Before we wrap up this review, if you would like to see more, head on over to MalViews.com. Or if you're listening on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. Alternatively, you can check out our support links in the description or on our website. It would help us immensely and we appreciate it. Thank you. Tears of the Kingdom hasn't revolutionized the idea of what makes a Zelda game. It has added far more depth to how great and how massive one can be while also reinforcing what we've come to know and love from the franchise. This is a title that will be shared and talked about in my household for many more hours to come. I recommend this as a must-play game. I can say with certainty, there are flaws with any game. That can be said of this game as well, but that doesn't change the core of what a game should be or strive to be. Entertaining. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is that and so much more. Inspiring, yet they have done so with older hardware, showing us that graphics are not the only aspect when it comes to great games. Nintendo has raised the bar for Zelda once again. My only hope is they capture lightning with the next title by continuing to listen to feedback from players. The mark of a wise development studio. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom earns a solid 9 out of 10.